All right, you know what time it is. Live from the Bare Muscle Garage, it's time for Fit Crew. What do we got in store for you today? Let's go ahead and share this on screen. So for today's workout, we've got a nice 4-rounder for you here that's going to be taking you to new heights. We're going to be doing 4 rounds of 15 calories on the row, 10 hang power snatches, and 1 rope climb. And we may be looking at this thinking, how am I going to do this? Don't got a rower, don't got a rope. Some of this looks kind of crazy. Don't worry, guys. As always, we're going to warm up really well. And we're going to go through all the options that will allow you to do this workout or your version of it. Right where you are, using what you have and doing what you can. But let's go ahead and start this general warm up. Here we go, guys. Let's get some arm circles going back, arm circles back. And as you know, my name is Coach Chris. I am a level 3 CrossFit trainer, which means I've logged thousands of hours over many years, helping many people just like you live their best life through health and fitness. Let's move on to arms across the chest, hug yourself, love yourself. One of the ways I've been privileged to help you guys live your best life is through the Habit Master Coaching Program. And we've got some awesome Habit Master coaches who have been through the system, who have dialed in their habits, and are ready to help you to improve those habits, as well as improving your movement in private sessions. So if you've been helped in private sessions, how has it helped you? Let's go ahead and move on to the wrist wave here. And while we're doing the wrist wave, let's hear from Reb. Go ahead, Reb, say your name, where you're from, and how has Habit Master Coaching helped you to stay on track?
Hey, I'm Reb in Chicago. As far as the health coaching, it's so helpful to have someone on your team to help you figure out what is the next step I need to do. And for the private training, it's just great to have that help to take things to the next level, especially with those more difficult moves.
Most definitely. We are the guide on the side with the eagle eye to help you move your best. So thank you, Reb. Let's go ahead and move on to some high knees. High knees into chest, or if it works better, we could do some high elbows. And while we're doing this, let's hear from Mighty Mouse. Go ahead, say your name, where you're from, and how has Habit Master Coaching helped you to stay on track?
Hi, my name's Renicia. I'm from Georgia. The Habit Master Coaching, it have helped me also in my habits. For example, the nutrition or the sleep or working on water. Well, I'm still struggling. So it help you, it give you the reminders and it help you to stay on track so you can be able to do everything else you need to do to even work out. So it really helped me so much in that area.
And appreciate that honesty. And that's why having a group of all of us to encourage each other is super important. We all have different things that we're working on, things that we admire in others, and we can all help each other in that way. So good job, Mighty Mouse. Let's go ahead and move on to some jumping jacks, or we could do some stepping jacks if we want low impact. And so Habit Master Coaching is one of the best ways to get what you individually need to reach your goals. And we have private individual sessions, and we're also pleased to offer semi-private sessions as well. So if any of this sounds interesting to you, please click that link that's in this video, or feel free to message me directly for details. Let's take a break from this warm-up, guys, and we're going to move on to the activation phase, which is where we're going to do a couple different moves that are going to help us to get specifically ready for today's workout. So the first move that we're doing today is reverse plank ups. And let's go ahead and have Reb demonstrate 2 reverse plank ups for us. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then those reverse plank ups are going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reverse plank ups together. So a couple things to keep in mind. We are on the ground. with those hands at the side, and we are squeezing those glutes, getting the hips as high as we can in the air, getting higher and higher each rep. And it could be that doing this is a bit hard on the wrist, in which case we may choose to do a glute bridge instead. That's where we're laying on the back, pulling the feet in close to the hips, squeezing those glutes, getting higher and higher each rep. So good job here on these reverse plank ups or the glute bridges, if that's what we choose to do. Next, we're going to roll over and do some plank shoulder taps. And let's go ahead and have Reb demonstrate 2 plank shoulder taps on each side for us. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then the plank shoulder taps are going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 plank shoulder taps together. On that plank shoulder tap, we're going to be in a nice tight plank position. And we're going to have those hips down, squeezing that gut to make sure we keep that core nice and tight. And we're shifting the weight, tapping the opposite side. Now, it could be that doing this off the ground is hard on the wrist, in which case we could do this off of an incline. And let's have Reb do a couple reps here. It could be off the wall. It could be off a bench. It could be off of a counter or some other incline surface. But we are going to be in a nice incline plank, shifting the weight, tapping the opposite side. So good job here on these plank shoulder taps. Next, we're going to do some walk the floors. And let's go ahead and have Reb demonstrate 1 walk the floor for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then the walk the floor is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in here and let's do 5 walk the floors together. Now, on that walk the floor, we are reaching down, touching those toes, walking all the way out to that plank, getting that chest to the ground, walking the hands back to the feet, standing up at the top. Now, it could be that getting all the way down to the ground like this is a bit of a challenge here, in which case we can do that walk the floor down to the plank position. Let's go ahead and have Reb demonstrate. We're going to walk out to that plank and then walk that back and stand up. Or we could do an incline walk the floor where we would have our feet up against an incline object. And then we're going to take a couple steps back and then a couple steps forward. And then we're going to clap overhead at the end of that movement. And then once again, from the seated position, we are hitting that nice big wide arm cross, reach all the way down, reach for the top. So good job on these walk the floors. Next, what I'd like everyone to do is let's go ahead and grab a broomstick or a mop or a PVC pipe. We always start super light before we go heavy. Plus, we're going to do some extra shoulder mobility. So we want nothing heavier than a broomstick for now. So with this broomstick in hand, we're going to do some pass-throughs. And let's go ahead and have Reb demonstrate 2 pass-throughs for us. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then those pass-throughs are going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 pass-throughs together. So a couple things to keep in mind. We've got a nice wide grip on that broomstick, and we're going to pull it up and around, touching that lower back in the back, belly button in the front. And we want to make sure we have a nice pass-through smile, which relaxes those muscles and helps us to have a fluid range of motion. And so good job here on these pass-throughs. Next, we're going to do some snatch grip deadlifts. So first, let's have Reb show us how we hold this thing. We have a nice wide grip on there, but we're going to have that hook grip, which is the thumb wrapped around and the fingers are over the thumb. And we're holding it nice and wide because we're doing snatches here. But let's see 2 snatch grip deadlifts. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then those snatch grip deadlifts are going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 snatch grip deadlifts together. So a couple things to keep in mind. We've got those hips super low and we've got the chest up, shoulders back, feet close together underneath the hips. But then we're going to take a deep breath in and brace that core as we drive the ground away, getting to a fully standing position with those shoulders back at the top. And then, of course, we're going to brace that core on the way back down as well. So good job on these snatch grip deadlifts. Finally, here in the activation phase, we're going to do some snatch high pulls. So let's go ahead and have Reb demonstrate 2 snatch high pulls for us. And let's get those elbows high for the high pull there. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then the snatch high pull is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of the snatch high pull together. So a couple things to keep in mind. We've starting the same way as that snatch grip deadlift, those hips super low, driving through the ground, getting that bar some speed through the middle there. We are popping that up with the hips and then shrugging, getting those elbows high and outside at the top. And keeping those elbows above the bar is going to help us to keep it close to the body, which is what we're looking for here. And so good job on these snatch high pulls. Well, that is it for the activation phase. Now we're going to move on to the movement prep, which is where we're going to practice specifically the 3 moves that we're doing in today's workout. The first move is going to be the row. And specifically, we're looking for something like a Concept 2 rowing machine. But if you have any type of rowing machine, what I'd like you to do right now is to hop on that machine and let's do a 1-minute row at a nice moderate pace. And that's going to be a good test for us to see how many calories we should do in today's workout. But most of us don't have these machines. We're the machines. We're going to do an at-home modification for the row that preserves the stimulus of pulling on that handle and getting it all the way up. And that's going to be the sumo deadlift high pull. And to demonstrate, let's go ahead and have Reb demonstrate 2 reps of the sumo deadlift high pull for us. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then that sumo deadlift high pull is going to look like this. Of course, making sure we're not going to hit anything. So let's go ahead and let's do 10 sumo deadlift high pulls together. So a couple things to keep in mind on this sumo deadlift high pull. The feet are going to start just slightly wider than that deadlift, about shoulder width, and the hands are closer together. But still same core to extremity pattern. We're starting with those legs, driving through the feet, getting fully extended, pulling that broomstick as if it's a handle on a rower. And we're pulling that all the way up to the upper part of the chest, keeping the elbows above at the top, getting those elbows high and outside. And so good job here on the sumo deadlift high pulls. The second move that we're doing in today's workout is the hang power snatch. And so we're holding on to that broomstick here. Let's go ahead and have Reb demonstrate 2 reps of the hang power snatch for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then the hang power snatch is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of the hang power snatch together. So a couple things to keep in mind on that hang power snatch. Now this rep is going to go from about the knee level and we are going overhead. And we're especially making sure to keep that chest nice and upright, popping that, jumping with the hips, and then punching under, and then standing and extending to finish. And so we want this to be a one movement here from the knee and one smooth movement, hitting that jump, hitting that punch under, and then standing to finish, getting that speed through the middle. So good job here on the hang power snatch. The third move that we're doing in today's workout is the rope climb. So if you happen to have a setup in which you have a secure rope that's attached to a rig, then you might be able to do at least a modified rope climb like this. And then, of course, we can do some skill work to work on the upper body strength and then the leg wrapping technique. But most of us don't have a rope like this. We're going to do an at-home modification that preserves the effort and stimulus it takes to climb that rope. We're going to do a combination of walk the floors and plank shoulder taps. 3 walk the floors with a plank shoulder tap on each side on the way back up is going to equal 1 rope climb for today's workout. So to demonstrate that, let's go ahead and have Reb demonstrate 1 rep of the walk the floor with the plank shoulder tap. And then 2 more of those is going to equal a rope climb. Now, if we are doing this from the seated position, then each rep of the walk the floor plank shoulder tap is going to look like this. So we're going to do that 3 times, and then that's going to equal a rope climb for us. So let's everyone join in and let's do 3 reps of that walk the floor plank shoulder tap. So a couple things to keep in mind. We are walking all the way out, keeping those legs as straight as possible, hitting that plank shoulder tap on the way back up. Now, it could be that getting all the way to the ground on each of these is a challenge. So like we did in the warm-up, we could possibly walk out just at a plank without hitting that push-up. Let's have Reb demonstrate a rep here where we would walk down just to the plank and then hit the shoulder taps before going back up. Or we could do this off of an incline there. And so we would get those feet back, hit that plank shoulder tap, and then get the feet all the way in and then clap overhead. And we're going to do 3 sets of that from the incline. So good job on these at-home rope climbs. Well, now it's ramp up time. If you've been doing this program long enough to earn your first badge, and you'd like to start adding some weight to the hang power snatch and the sumo deadlift high pull, let's keep in mind that we're really not looking for a heavy weight on either of these today. So it shouldn't take too long. Maybe we add a little bit of weight and do 3 to 5 practice reps and only maybe 1 more set after that, and we should be good to go. But if we have not earned our first badge, or we're just getting back into this after a long time off, then we're using nothing heavier than a broomstick for today. Seriously. It's very important that we have the right form and consistency with all of our habits, as evidenced by earning that badge, before we've earned the right to add or reintroduce intensity, such as by adding weight or going fast. And whether we're adding weight or not, let's pay close attention to the following checklist. Number 1, please make sure your device is fully charged or plugged in so we can get through this whole workout without losing you. Number 2, let's grab some water. Let's take a sip. Let's make sure we got our water nearby so we can take a sip as needed all throughout the workout. Number 3, I'm going to give everyone a 3, 2, 1, go countdown. And that's how you can synchronize your timer with mine if you choose to use one. Number 4, music. Super important. This is not a long one today, so what are the 2, maybe 3 songs that are going to really motivate you and pump you up to push you to finish before they're done? If you haven't given it some thought, please get that playlist queued up. You can blast your music as loud as you want, as long as you can still hear me helping you throughout the workout. And lastly, how are we keeping track of these rounds? This is a 4-round workout. It's going to be easy to lose track of where we are and how much we're doing. So let's have some type of system in place, whether it's a scorecard or something else along those lines, to help us to see where we are without getting lost. Something that really helps with that is having the workout written down close by. So if you're a teacher's pet like Mighty Mouse, first to the screen with the scorecard award today. And we've got Reb as well with the notepad award. And then we've got Digital Flash ready with this phone there. Let's go ahead and take a teacher's pet picture just to show how prepared you are. Teacher's pet picture in 3, 2, 1. Awesome. I'm going to bring the workout back on screen one more time here, and then we'll get going. So in just about a minute, we're going to start this timer, and we're about to do this 4-round workout of 15 calories on the row, 10 hang power snatches, and 1 rope climb. Now, most of us are going to be doing the at-home version of this, which is going to be 15 sumo deadlift high pulls, followed by 10 hang power snatches, and then the 3 walk the floors with the plank shoulder taps on the way back up. And we're looking for the weight on that sumo deadlift high pull to not be too heavy there. We're looking to use actually the same weight that we are on the snatch. And speaking of which, we are looking for a weight on that snatch that we could hit all 10 in a row without putting it down, at least in that first round. And maybe as we get tired in the later rounds, it still takes us no more than about 2 sets to get through the full set of 10. And if we do happen to have a rower, we're looking for that row to take less than a minute each round. So whatever you just got on that 1-minute test, that's going to be a good number, maybe even take away a calorie or 2. And that should be the stimulus that we're going for on the row for today. So your score is going to be the time it takes you to get through these 4 rounds of 15 sumo deadlift high pulls, 10 hang power snatches, and the 3 walk the floors with the plank shoulder tap on the way back up. So if you are good to go, give me a thumbs up here. I'm going to give us a 10-second countdown, and then I'm going to highlight red to get us going. 15 sumo deadlift high pulls, 10 hang power snatches, 3 walk the floors with the plank shoulder taps, 4 rounds of that. Starting in 10 seconds. Let's get ready. 3, 2, 1, Go, and we are off on these sumo deadlift high pulls. Keeping it close, using those legs to power that up, keeping those elbows high and outside. And as we can see, this is a very classic substitution for a rowing machine. We can definitely see how it's a very similar movement pattern. We're driving with the legs, pulling that handle, as it were, up to the upper part of the chest and keeping a nice vertical chest there. We don't want to lean far forward. We're keeping the hips low, chest up, driving with those legs until we get all 15 reps there. And then after we get all 15 reps, we're moving on to the hang power snatch. And so you don't have to go lower than your knee there, Flash. You can go pretty much from the knee to overhead, and then we are jumping, punching, and we got Reb on that as well. And notice the footwork there. Reb is jumping with those feet close together. The feet are going slightly wider as she receives that overhead, but then she's got that reset each time. And we got Mighty Mouse on these snatches as well. So to be clear, those first 15 reps, the sumo deadlift high pulls, starting from the ground, going up to the chest, and then the snatches are going from the knee, then going overhead. The 10 of those. And we got Flash on this rope climb here. And so he's choosing to do an incline version with a bit of a push up there. And then we got Reb doing the walk the floor plank shoulder tap. And we got Mighty Mouse as well. Everyone doing their version of this rope climb. And it looks like we got Flash already on to round 2 here. So everyone on track to finish within today's target window. And these target windows are the best way to challenge ourselves appropriately and to make sure we're making the right choices of movements and weights in the workout. Of course, as long as we've been earning badges first, then we may decide to add some weights and do either the scaled, intermediate, or RX version of the workout. But no matter what we choose to do, let's make sure that we're making choices, maybe mixing and matching as needed in order to finish within that target window. And that's how all of us get the version of the workout that we need. And we are deep into this second round, finishing off this row, moving on to some snatches. We got Mighty Mouse on some snatches. We got Flash just about finishing those snatches, and then about to hit the rope climb in this second round. So hitting this incline, walk the floor, getting that push up in with the tap tap. And we got Reb on these hang power snatches as well. Hitting that jump, hitting that punch, standing to finish. So great work here, guys. We are on this Mighty Mouse on this second rope climb here. Reb just about finishing the second round of snatches. And then after we finish this second round, I'm going to be moving on to the third. And so like we said, in this program, we've got lots of different types of workouts. Some are longer, some are shorter. But we need all of these different types of workouts to be ready for whatever life requires of us. So as long as we understand each workout and approach it with the right intensity, then we are getting better all across the board. We got Flash on this third round here Let's get those hips lower on the high pulls there, Flash. And so closer to the ground, there we go. And then pulling that all the way up to the top of the chest, getting those elbows high and outside. Reb as well on this third round here. Mighty Mouse deep into the third round, hitting some snatches. So let's do this thing here, guys. Hitting some snatches, getting under it. Finishing these high pulls, hips low every time, getting those elbows high and outside. And Mighty Mouse already on this third rope climb here. And we got Flash on these snatches and about to hit this third rope climb. So great work here, guys. Making our way through. Taking a quick break as needed, but then picking that right back up. Getting right back on it. And then as we're getting into this last round here, this fourth round, we know what to do when we cross that finish line. We hit that buzzer, we yell time, we cheer on our family. So let's do this thing. Reb finishing off round 3. Awesome work here, guys, making our way through. And we've got Mighty Mouse almost done on this last set of rope climbs. Boom, there goes the first section. Second section. And there she goes. And time for Mighty Mouse. Let's get a quick little victory dance from Mighty Mouse. And we got Kid Flash making his way toward the finish line as well. Reb on this last set of snatches here, almost at that rope climb.
You got this, Reb. You got it.
And there goes Flash. Quick little victory dance from Flash. And Reb picking up that bar, about to close out this set here. Still on track to finish within the window. Awesome work, Reb. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. And there she goes, diving into this rope
You
climb.
got this, Reb. You got it.
Almost there. Hitting section number 2. On the last leg of the rope climb. Oh man, there goes Reb across the finish line. Well, I'll tell you what, guys, that was super awesome and exciting. And we're at the best part, which is the cool down stretch. This stretch is super important to help us fight soreness, increase flexibility, so we can come back day after day, staying consistent and committed. So the first stretch we're going to do today is the child's pose stretch. And that's going to be where we get those legs out in front of us, actually the arms out in front of us, hips back, and we're sinking into this stretch like this. And I'd like to challenge you, if you have something that you can get your arms up on top of and drop that chest like this, then we can increase the stretch in this way. Or if we're doing this from the seated position, then we're going to get those arms up and pull back like this. And while we're doing this, let's reflect on the workout. Let's do some high-low buffalo. So, high. What is one thing you feel you did well in today's workout? Low. What is something you want to do better the next time it shows up? And buffalo. What is something that surprised you about today's workout? While we're thinking about it, let's switch here. We're going to go from this child's pose into puppy dog. So we got hips over knees, chest into the ground, and we are sinking into this stretch like this. And while we're doing this, let's hear from Mighty Mouse. And if we're doing this from the seated position, we're going to get those hands on the shoulder blades and pull back like this. But what is your high-low buffalo, Mighty Mouse?
My high was the calorie rolls. My low, my low was the hang power snatch, only because towards the end it got a little heavier. So that was like my buffalo also. But overall it was a good workout.
And you did great with it. If it felt heavy, it didn't look heavy because you were just slinging around those weights, Mighty Mouse. Let's go ahead and switch to thread the needle. So we got one arm forward, other arm through, sinking into this stretch like this. And while we're doing this, let's hear from Reb. And if we're doing this from the seated position, we're going to get the one arm across the chest and pull back like this. But what is your high-low buffalo, Reb?
My high were the rope climbs. The low is the hang power snatch, and the buffalo also the hang power snatch.
Exactly. Snatching ain't easy, but you started out strong and you took strategic breaks in order to keep your form. And that's what we are looking for. And so good job there, Reb. And let's go ahead and move on to thread the needle on the other side. So we got the other arm forward, other arm through, and we are sinking into this stretch like this. And while we're on this side, let's hear from Flash. And if we're doing this from the seated position, we're getting the other arm across the chest, pulling back like this. But what is your high-low buffalo, Flash?
Well, my high was pretty much everything. Yeah, everything. Low, didn't really have one. Just the rope climb to do it on the ground. Due to some issues, I cannot do it on the ground now, but I expect to do it when I do it to keep the consistency in it. And Buffalo is everything that I did it.
And we're always happy to see you here too, Flash. And I'm glad that you made some smart choices. You know, we've always got different things we need to think about going into the workout, but we make the right choices and we get through it as best as we can. So good job, Flash. Well, that's our WOD, that's our stretch, that's our high-low buffalo. Let's go ahead and hit this sweaty selfie, because does this count if we don't take this selfie? Let's flex on the camera here, guys, and let's take this selfie. Sweaty selfie in 3, 2, 1. And crazy face. And let's put the fist in the middle for the cheer. On 3, 2 claps. Fit crew. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Fit crew. Thank you guys so much. If you enjoy this program, then please give this channel a subscribe a like, and a share. Thank you very much, and see you next time.